Hello, this is Francisco Perez, and we're here in the most sacred place in all of Honolulu, which we call today Honolulu. This stretch of land I sit on, where I stand upon, is the most sacred place in this area, in this part of the island. Prior to 1980s, where we sit, which is called Kapolei, in ancient times, Pu'ukapolei, was just this one hill that you see behind me. This one hill was called Kapolei, Pu'ukapolei. This place was of great importance, for this place was where the changing of the seasons were celebrated. This place was where we seek to the sky, where we had our solar observations, were here on this beautiful mountain called Pu'uokapolei. Now you must understand, this is not my first video. If you were to put into the Google search Kapolei or Heiau's or Kapolei Heiau's, this would not pull up. You have to have the name of this place. You have to use specific names. It was not easy to find this place. But you want to know something? I've passed this place 1,000,000 times. This place is Kapolei Regional Park. So, ladies and gentlemen, they took the most sacred place we have and they turned it into a playground. And guess what else? I'm sorry for the wind. I apologize. It is very windy here in Hawaii, especially today. So, on top of this great mountain, this famous mountain, there is an archery shooting range. So I just came from walking around here, all the way at the end down there, and lo and behold, megalithic rocks behind barbed wire fence. Why do you think you do not see megalithic? Do you want to know the story? The story of this place is in the time of the missionaries, they took majority of the stones here, crushed them. They crushed the stones and used them to build the roads and the highways. They used them to build the ditches and the irrigation ducts for the sugarcane fields, which fed off of the ancient Hawaiian systems, the irrigation aqueducts that went from the top and innermost parts of the mountain all the way down to the seashore. That was one of the most important things to my people. The water must flow. The water must flow, meaning no stagnant water where mosquitoes can build up and bacteria build up. We all gave our efforts in to make sure these rivers were free flowing so that it could give life from the mountain to the sea, where once it got to the sea, the minerals in this water fed the coral reefs and allowed it to grow. It grew the seaweed, which healed us. It created life for the fish so that could feed us. A lot of the stories, a lot of the things we were taught by our kapuna has so much basis in our day-to-day lives to allow us to be self-sufficient. I've been to many classes, I've been to many lectures, and the things I learned from my kapuna about my history and about nature has been by far one of the best information I have ever been told, which now resonates through me to allow me to put forth this information. Look at the rock structures. I want you to see this, okay? They have, what I was going to say earlier is that this is not the first time I've shown you a heiau on Oahu. All right? I want you to see the bunker up there. Now, this is not a typical bunker. This is a gigantic bunker. All right? Why is it? Every single heiau we have, there's a military bunker. They have us to believe that at the time of a war, they created these bunkers and they dug out these mountains in order for these caverns to exist. What I want to show you is that I've shown you many times that these caverns existed before. All they did was come in and adapt the caverns for their needs and build on the outside of it doors for security, so they can keep you out of these places. For these are your ancient caves. Now we know this was an important solar observation center, okay? This was the most sacred place. In the times of the festival of the seasons, the makahiki, all of these things were practiced in this area. We know that these caverns connect to each other. Many of these caverns connect to each other in underground systems that spread throughout this whole island. And this is what you're witnessing right here. Is an adaptation of that. Okay? So that's what that bunker is. So this right here, these trees you see, these beautiful trees, have hundreds, if not thousands, of medical purposes that could be used for. I looked at the ones that they do in the Middle East, and they use this tree for hundreds of different things to heal you. This is what you would call the Acacia Tree, the biblical tree that was used alongside the cedar. This is the acacia, which we call in Hawaii the koa tree. So much of the heiau and all the native sites and artifacts lay behind this fence. And it even says it. If you put into Google search Pu'ukapolei, Kapolei, if you put that in a search engine, it'll bring up information on this place, and it'll tell you that the heiau is a portion of the heiau is available to see in the corner which we are walking to. But they say majority of it is behind the fence. behind the fence. See that? I bet you that's a entrance to a tunnel, like a ladder going down. That's what we got to remember, is that the Hebrew people, who we misnamed Hebrew, because Israel redemption broke down there. It comes from the word Ibre or Ibra, which means the feathered or winged people. That's why we always had feathers. We incorporated feathers into our regalia. That was part of our culture. Okay, so we all know those people used cave systems. They implemented cave systems. They buried their dead in cave systems. And we know that much of their knowledge and their history was buried with them in these cave systems. So that is the reason we are not being allowed to visualize or visually inspect these places. Look at, there's a barbed wire fence around it. It's a park. It's a playground surrounded by businesses, thousands and thousands of new businesses, in order for them to build the millions of houses they are currently building. And just so happens it's next door to, I believe that is the courthouse right over there. These are all government buildings. You see how they do you? This is a state park. That's a military bunker. Ruins. You can't just go and dig in the state park. You can't just go behind that barbed wire fence and start digging and not expect to go to jail. So recognize it for what it is. You are being withheld from your history while it sits here waiting for you to come and say, hey, what is that? Why is this? This is us. That is ours. You know. So we're almost there. I know. It's funny how there's like rocks on the perimeter of this. Almost like this is like been there, but could have been them put these rocks in as a marker where not to go beyond. Like, don't go beyond this point, because then you start running into the artifacts, different things. So let me see if I can get close over here. I know I should have brought my shoes. I didn't really expect to be doing this today, but here we are. Oh, eggs. As long as no pig comes out attacking my ass, we'll be good. Centipedes. Look at that. Okay, so this is the fence. What do we have here? Anything of relevance? Just take a quick look. See, if we get over that fence, that's where you find the real deal. Now remember, they destroyed much of it. They crushed it. and made roads and irrigation ducts out of it. You know they like to bury everything, so this whole hill right here is probably part of the mound buried. But we'll get to what's left for us to see. I mean, you can see that they built this building over here so that it could be used as a shooting range. See, the fence goes all the way around it so that you cannot go and see what is your past. So this is the gate. Come in. Oh, maybe I can do this. Oh, bro. I did not dress for this. How protect. So much metal. Blades sticking up. Fucking needles from drug addicts. And shit over here. Alright. Cactus everywhere. Look at that caution tape. Can't really see anything. Like, if you was to make a fire up here and burn all of this grass, I bet you'd be amazed at what you see. Hold on, I'm gonna climb down here again. Hawaiian. Okay. That was nothing. I did see this over here before I went up. So this right here is what you call noni. So this is a noni tree. So you see it's green. You want to get one like this. So this is yellow. This is a medicine. We used to use this to cure cancer and all types of stuff. So what we do is you put this in a jar. See, there's a big tree. This is medicine right here. And look, it's right next to this. You know this. It's probably been in forever. Like probably a little baby tree from an ancient tree that was cut down. But this is, you put this in a glass jar and you put it out in the sun and it rots. And as it's rotting, all the juice squirts out into the bottom of the bottle. What you do is you pull this out and you just pour the juice into a glass, and that's your concentrate, and that thing can cure cancer, hundreds and hundreds of different diseases. Noni. All right, let's see what we got here. So I know this is like a rock enclosure. I think there's more though. I'm not sure. I've never been here. You got this. This gigantic stone. There's a sign here, so I'm gonna read it. See, this is a koa tree, the acacia wood. See this bark right here? This bark right here is medicine. So what we would do, the priest would do, was we would go take the bark off, and the tree still would be good. The tree still would survive. We just like rip off the bark. You see that? You see how I just did that? Ripped off the bark. And what they do in India and all over, they boil this, and all the black dust residue on the bottom of the pot, after you pour out the water, that's medicine. And that's what they do with this, and this can cure many different things. And see, the bark is still good. I mean, the tree is still good. It'll grow another bark on it, and then you can go and harvest that bark. And that's what we do. And this is the best firewood. I mean, your food will taste so amazing. You have no idea. Alright, let's see what we got. So I guess this will be the entrance. I came the long way, but it's fine. I wanted to see that bunker. That was important. So Pu'ukapolei. Pu'ukapolei was the location of the largest and most sacred heiau in all the Apua'a of Honouliuli, which is down today called Honolulu. Remember now, this is the largest heiau. So what we're about to see is nothing. This whole thing is a heiau, which is being concealed and or was destroyed. This place in ancient times is said where the Hawaiian Jesus would be. Not the Jesus in the Christian sense, but Kamapua'a, the pig god. If you look at Jesus, his name is I am pig, or earth pig. So the name Jesus is worshiping the pig god. And this is where the pig god lived, Pu'ukapolei. It was a place of governance and was also the location of the home of Kamaunuaniho, who served as Konohiki. Pu'ukapolei served as a landmark for travelers and a place for solar observation in determining the seasons. So the ocean is right here, and people used to sail along this coast, and they used to use this heiau as a landmark in order to travel to Waianae. So they know they're going to Waianae, which is that side, which has several heiaus. We'll see if we can get to them. Let's see. Oh, sorry. So you see, this is Pu'ukapolei. Let me just go up here before I go down to where it starts. See that shit? Look at that rubble. Oh, what could this have been? Remember now, they crushed up all the stone. Look at this beautiful stone. I definitely do not worship stones, but I definitely love building with stone. You see the baby deer? I think that's part of it right there. Where that tower is built, I think that's another heiau piece right there. Right there, you see that? All the way across to the house. See, the thing about Hawaii is they've had hundreds of years to bring in this foreign species of plants and grass, and these things were just to conceal our ancient sites. And people tell me like, oh, How do you know that? How can you prove that? Well, all we have to really do is look at the writings of the people who colonized Asia, and they wrote specifically in their writings that they brought types of trees there in order to cover the megaliths, in order to conceal the megaliths. We had pictures of the people, which had information of the people. Now you're gonna say, well, yeah, maybe not. Well, let's just look in America. Let's look at all of the ancient sites in America. Now, can we say that they are wide open for you to see today? Some places, yes, tourist attractions. Yeah, they may be wide open for you to see. But were they like that when they found them, or was it actually sealed up by plants, just like it is here? Yes, it was. That's why today they're still discovering ancient sites in America. That means from South America all the way up to Canada. They're still discovering ancient sites. So this is a pahula. I'm just going to show you this. This is part of Hawaiian culture. This is pahula. So guess what? This right here that's on the edge of this park is a Harriet Jeanette Weinberg Society school. You see how they did? They surrounded your megaliths with schools, parks, and government buildings and military facilities. So this was built for Hawaiian practitioners because of the importance of this site. So this is where people come and they perform hula. So this is pahula, and this is at the base, I guess, of where this heiau exists. Well, which I believe much of these hills is part of the heiau, just covered up. So come up here, people come up here, much parking. They have big festivals and people dance hula, and they got native Hawaiian plants like the noni plant and this plant right here. I forget the name, but this one doesn't work the best, but there's another one, the same family. It's a little rounder, but you can use these two. You break this up and then you rub this with water on your goggles, and it'll stop your goggles or your glasses from fogging up. So this is a natural defogger, and this is what they use to create the defoggers that they sell in the store. They take up the genetic decomposition of this, and they synthesize it to sell. And this is kukui nut. So this was used as lamp oil. Also, if you had pinched my finger with the edge over here when I cleaned. But if you rip this open at the nut, and these things were grinded up and used as kukui nut inamona, which was if you had problems with going to the restroom, if you couldn't take a crap, then you could eat these, and these would force you to go to the restroom. And it's really, really strong. You don't need that much. And there's so many different uses for it. So yeah. See, kaulunani an urban forestry project in cooperation with DLNR, Division of Forestry and Wildlife, and U.S. State Forest Service. So that's why there's so much noni. Right here this is a perfect example of a ripe noni. You see this right here? Like if I was to squeeze this, you see that? That's noni. That's medicine. That's God's gift to you. You don't realize it. But all of our plants, all of that is medicine. See, we see food as a game. Well, actuality, food is our medicine. So, I don't really know what else there is here. I'll take a quick walk over here and see if I can see anything else. And then if not, I'll be ending this video. But just remember, this was the largest heiau. This was the most sacred heiau. And this was just, the rocks were gathered and crumbled up and used as a road. Disrespectful there. Schools all around it, parked on top of it, shooting range in it, military base inside of it, using our ancient caves, concealing our history from us. Most of us don't even know there's caves underneath this. They say, oh yeah, that's just volcanoes from the lava. But no, we don't really understand that there's caverns, large, small, tunnels for days, and these were used by our ancestors. So these are not taught to us in school. This is not told to us. Movies are not made about this. We're told we're just savages, simple-minded people. I guess that's it. Oh, right there. That's the entry to the bunker, to the underground caves. I've been in one of these bunkers. After I see a couple of black widows, I'm out. I've been in it. Even though the archery is long gone, they still got it closed up. Because they know it's a heiau. So they can't really build houses on it or around it. So they make it parks. And then people forget about it. And then they're allowed to build houses all around it. Now you will see the Kapolei today, all from the 80s and the 90s. All this is brand new. None of it was here before. As far as the eye can see that way. And now they're going this way. And if it was on the other side of this mountain, you would see what I mean. So, I want to bid you guys farewell. Machaha. Salam. Hi, hi. Hi, hi.